do you lose the president's brain? The most important brain in the country. How do you lose that? And then I heard other really creepy things too. Like, I think it was Lee Harvey Oswald's body, and I'm pretty sure this is confirmed, was exhumed multiple times after he was buried. And one time, and I think they moved him to different graves, and not in the same cemetery. They just moved him to a different place completely, like out in the countryside, where no one would find him. And guess what? Someone found him and dug up his body. And not only that, but after digging up his body, they realized his head was sewn back on. So something weird happened. I don't know if this is grave robbers or what, but someone dug him up by the sounds of it, removed his head and sewed it back on, or they removed his head and put the head of someone else on him. It's there's so many things with that case that is just bizarre. It sounds absurd, like losing the president's brain. Super creepy, like the thing with Lee Harvey Oswald.
Finally, we transferred to waste processing. But this place is a shithole. Rumor has it, though, there's a way out from here. The main line that comes off of Tank 6 goes all the way to the dome. That red pipe. It drains right down to it. I just need to follow it back.
Yeah, and there's just so many things that just don't add up about it. Like, one thing I noticed is if you watch the assassination of Lee Harvey Oswald, where Jack Ruby runs up and shoots him, it doesn't look real. Like, what I'm saying is it looks like it's a skit. Like, that's all I can say, is like it looks like a Broadway play to me. And I mean, that just might be this part of my brain that senses something like uncanny valley, because that's totally the feeling I get when I watch the Lee Harvey Oswald all assassinations. I'm not saying it's staged. I'm not saying it's faked. What I'm saying is I get this uncanny valley feeling when I watch it. Just like if you're walking through a cornfield in the middle of the night and this strange person approaches you, and you know their skin is kind of like rubbery, and the bones in their face when they move are kind of mechanical, like it's a robot. You know, it seems to talk and move in jerky mannerisms, like, hello fellow human, I am a human just like you, how are you today? You know, like that sort of feeling is what I get when I watch the assassination of Lee Harvey Oswald. Is like, this feels like something I would watch on like a 1950s television run, like an episode of The Twilight Zone, or you know, any sort of sitcom. It just feels televised and played out. I don't know. I don't know. Everything about the JFK assassination is bizarre. That's something people will never figure out. There's, and if there was some sort of conspiracy behind it, I think it was deliberately made confusing like that, with all of those weird things going on, you know, just so open-ended to the point to where it's madness. That way no one will ever figure it out. Nice. Like, what I'm saying is, like, if you want to confuse someone, you put them in a maze of ideas that they're never going to find their way out of. A spider web of different things going on at once. They'll never find the answer, and you keep throwing stuff in there. You know, it's to the point to where they just can't find their way to the answer. You know, like, it's sort of like the back rooms. You know, it just keeps going on. Like, so like the JFK assassination is like the back rooms. Every time you look into it, there's something new you hear. This happened, that happened, and it's all weird shit, and you just, you know, I think that's done deliberately. You eventually become, it's sort of like, this sense of Kafkaism, where it's just like you become lost in limbo, you know. and I mean, that's kind of like a rule of the universe in many ways. I don't know a rule, maybe an air of the universe. Okay. Yikes. Shit.
Guards on rotation. I've got to make this quick. Yeah, supply leads to tank 6. Yeah. Not seeing access. I've got to find a way inside.
Ooh. Let me turn around real quick. I don't think I meant to go in there. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't had this much fun playing a survival horror game in quite some time. Oh shit. Shit. I was considering getting, because it's on sale right now, the Sherlock Holmes games are pretty cool. I remember playing one way back in the day, Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper, and it was really good. I really liked it. And I wish they would probably remake it, but I don't know if they would do so well. But they recently, I'm a huge Lovecraft fan, and you know, there's some pretty decent Lovecraft games out there, but I want a Lovecraft game that just blows me away. The only Lovecraft game that ever really blew me away, and it's not really a Lovecraft game, is Eternal Darkness. That is probably the most Lovecraftian game I have ever played, but it's so outdated at this point that's not like really something that I need to experience again. But there is 2 Sherlock Holmes games by Frogwares that are based off of Lovecraft, and it's Sherlock Holmes The Awakened, and that's on sale right now, and I've had my eye on that for so damn long. But I'm just hesitant to buy it because Lovecraft games, they sometimes work and they sometimes don't. And sometimes, like, I'll give you a good example. The Sinking City. The Sinking City is probably one of the better Lovecraft games, actually one of the best I've played, but for one reason or another, I can't really stay interested in the storyline. And I think the reason for that is because it's just Innsmouth. You're hearing the story of Innsmouth again. And that's the setting for a lot of Lovecraft games, is they put them in Innsmouth. And if you've read Lovecraft, you know the story of Innsmouth. And I think that's the reason why I can't stay interested in the storylines, because it's just Innsmouth. But it's fun. The game, I'll give it this. The game is fun, and having that setting where you're playing in a sort of open world game in Innsmouth, even though you're not in, it's called, I think it's called Oak something. I don't know. But it's basically a city that was over flooded, and there's monsters, and it's I think it's sinking, I don't know, but Oakmont, yeah. It's really captivating, but the storyline itself does not interest me. The game, the characters and all the things you do, the detective work, it's all very interesting, but the storyline does not captivate me. Anyways, that is by the same company, Frogware Games, that does the Sherlock Holmes series. I have yet to finish The Sinking City, and I really want to, and I've been playing it for over 2 years now. You know, just slowly but surely making my way through the game, just never quite finishing it. But it's made by the same company, so that's my feeling towards Sherlock Holmes and the Awakened, which is the one that I'm talking about, which the Sherlock Holmes The Awakened is technically a Lovecraft game. I just feel that's going to be a clone of Sinking City, but the only difference is there's going to be no combat. And the combat in Sinking City is nothing worth really talking about, but I've been watching some reviews on YouTube, and the game does not seem too bad, but it seems like it's not really going to be anything different than what I've already experienced. So I think I'm probably going to push that off. What I really like is a Lovecraft game that is not a Lovecraft game, but takes heavy inspiration from Lovecraft. And that's what Eternal Darkness did. It's not a Lovecraft game, it just took heavy inspiration from Lovecraft. Same with Amnesia. That was a game which I would say took a lot of inspiration from Lovecraft, but it wasn't a Lovecraft game. A good Lovecraft game that I did play is one that did not take itself seriously. I can't remember what it's called, but it's shit. Son of a bitch. Fuck. Anyways, what is that game called? Let me look real quick here while we are loading. But it's probably one of my favorite Lovecraft games, and because it's the reason it's my favorite is because it doesn't take itself seriously. Oh, Gibeus, a Cthulhu adventure. Yeah, and it's an adventure game. It's relatively new. I think it was made in 2019, and it's just this cute, innocuous game surrounded by a Cthulhu mythos, and I think that's the reason why I like it, is because it's taken the whole concept of H.P. Lovecraft, which was a guy who did not really have any sense of humor at all, and it's given it a sense of humor. It's more lighthearted, and I love the fucking shit out of it, you know? It's like, it just takes it, and it makes fun of it, and it just throws you in the world of it, and I'm just like, I love this. So that's one of my favorite Lovecraft games, is Cthulhu, Gibeus, a Cthulhu adventure. And I highly recommend it if you like adventure games, and I love adventure games. So, yeah, I would just love to see a Lovecraft game that you know, either doesn't take itself seriously, or just a game that's heavily inspired by the work of Lovecraft, like Eternal Darkness was. Because there is Call of Cthulhu. Shit. Call of Cthulhu: Dark Corners of the Earth, which is pretty old at this point. That game has a really good soundtrack, I'll say that, but as a game, I found it really unappealing. There we go. Nice. Yeah, Call of Cthulhu: Dark Corners of the Earth. I found it really uninspiring, I guess. It wasn't scary. It was just dreadfully depressing, I guess. That's something that a lot of Lovecraft games do, is they're kind of just like dreadfully depressing. And that's the part of Lovecraft I don't necessarily like. I get it, you know, it's horror, so I get it. But too much of that will just, you know, wear you down. So that's why too I like the more lighthearted approach to Lovecraft material, like Gibeus, where it's still dark and foreboding, but it's doing it in a very cute, funny way that makes you laugh a little, and a little bit you learn to live a little, if you know what I'm saying. So there we go.